for tonight's homework, you will have a worksheet. It's a two-sided worksheet. I will break this video into two parts. One part I'll do the one side, and the other video I'll do the opposite side. The one I'm going to talk about first is the one with the two spinners at the top. And it says skills at the top. So the one with the two spinners at the top. Okay, before we get started, I want to go over this with you really quickly. This is a number line with 0, 1/2, and 1 on there. Okay, so if something has 0 chance of happening, it is impossible, and I know you know that. If something is half, if you have equal chance, that's equally likely. And then if it's 100%, it is certain that it will happen. Okay, so you have impossible, equally likely, and certain. Now, if something is less than equal, it is less likely than happen. So if it's from here to here, it's less likely of happening. If it's more than a half, it is more than likely to happen. Okay, and that's what it says here. From here to here is more than likely. Okay, so you have impossible, 0, equally likely, 1/2, and certain at 100%, or whatever the number is at the end of your what you're talking about. Okay, if something is less than half, it's less likely to happen. If something is more than half, it's more likely to happen. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're working through this today. Okay, so the first question is, you have a spinner, which is shown right here. It says, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a number, land on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 when you spin. Okay, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this one. So is it certain that you will land on a 1, 2, 3, or 4? Or is it impossible that you would land on a 1, 2, 3, or 4? Alright, number 2. You spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a 1 as a 2. Okay, so let's look at this, how we would do this. Okay, so to land on a 1, first we're going to find out all of our possible outcomes. And on this spinner we have 1, 2, 3, 4 possible outcomes. So that will be our denominator for both 1 and 2. So what is the probability that I would spin on a 1? How many chances do I have? Okay, there's only 1 there, so there is a 1/4 chance. Okay, so I'd say the same thing with the 2. How many opportunities for 2 do I have to spin on, or chances? I have 1. And the marker's running out. So I have a 1/4 chance of landing on a 1 and a 1/4 chance of landing on a 2. So I have the same chance. So the question is asking, is it more likely that you'll land on a 1 as a 2? Is it equally likely? Or is it less likely? Okay, and just by looking at these numbers, it's an equal chance, because it's 1/4 chance I land on 1, 1/4 chance that I'll spin on a 2. Okay? Now, number 3, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a 6. Okay, looking at that spinner, is it certain that you will land on a 6, or is it impossible to land on a 6? So you decide that. Alright, I'm going to put this spinner away and let's look at the next one. Okay. So this spinner has a 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4 on it. And the first question is, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a 1, then a 3. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is find my total possible outcomes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 possible outcomes, so that's going to be my denominator for both the 1 and the 3. Now, what is the chance I could land on a 1? So I look at my spinner and how many 1s are there? Okay, there's only 1. So I have a 1/8 chance of landing on or spinning a 1. Okay, now I'll look at the 3s. How many chances do I have of landing on a 3? I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have a 1/8 chance of landing on a 1, a 3/8 chance of landing on a 3. So again, the question is, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a 1 than a 3. Is it more likely I'll land on a 1? Equally likely I'll land on a 1? Or less likely I'll land on a 1? Okay, and just comparing these two, which one would you choose? Okay? Number 5 is the exact same type of question. I'm not going to do that one on here, but you're going to just set it up the same way as I did number 4, and you're just dealing with different numbers on the spinner. Number 6, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a 5. So again, is it going to be certain that you'll land on a 5, likely you'll land on a 5, or impossible you'll land on a 5? Again, looking at the spinner here or on your paper, what is the chance that you'll land on a 5? Okay? And number 7, you spin the spinner shown. It is blank that you will land on a number less than 4. Less than 4. So, okay, again, I'm going to set it up the same way. And we've already found how many chances we had on by number 4. There are 8. Now, the part that can be a little tricky here is number less than 4. A number less than 4. So on the spinner, how many numbers are less than 4? I'll just put like a dot there. 1 is less than 4. 2 is less than 4. 3 is less than 4. Okay, and then 4 was not. Okay, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have a 7/8 chance, 7/8 chance of spinning on a number less than 4. Okay? So is it certain that I will land on a number less than 4? Is it likely I'll spin on a number less than 4? Or is it impossible that I'll spin on a number less than 4? Okay? So I have a 7/8 chance. Okay? And again, if you need to, you can look back over here. Certain, equally likely, impossible, more likely, less likely. Okay? That's number 7. Number 8 is you toss a 6-sided number cube. Kind of like what we work with in class. This one's kind of a bigger one. It has 6 sides on it. The question is asking, the cube is blank to land on an odd number as an even number. Okay, so up here, I can land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on a number cube. Alright? Now, my even numbers, you should know this, but I'll go ahead and put this down, is 2, 4, and 6, which makes my odd numbers 1, 3, and 5. Alright? So is it a more likely chance that I'll land on an odd number than an even number? Is it equally likely I'll land on an odd number than an even number? Or is it less likely that I'll land on an odd number than an even number? Okay? So again, if we wanted to set this up and as a fraction, we already know there's 6 possible numbers to land on. How many even numbers? 1, 2, 3. How many odd numbers? 1, 2, 3. So I have 3, 6 here and 3, 6 here. So is that more likely, equally likely, or less likely? Okay, and number 9, you toss a 6-sided number cube. It is blank that the cube lands on a number less than or equal to 2 than a number greater than 2. Okay, so less than 2 would be these two numbers, 1 and 2. Greater than 2 would be these 4 numbers, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so less than 2 is 1, 2. More than 2 is 3, 4, 5, 6. So is it more likely that you'll land on less than or equal to 2 than a number greater than 2? Equally likely or less likely? Okay? And that is the end of side 1, and we'll start side 2 in the next video.